you, Softprom, for the invitation and for having me a part of this webinar. My name is David Muniz, and I'm from Senhasegura. And today's session is called Protecting Remote Access Through PAM. Let me just fix my video. Okay. Okay, so let's get started. Oops. Sorry. Sorry again. Yes. Well, the COVID-19 pandemic has caused mass adoption of remote work models, and most organizations were not ready for this migration. And this happened with organizations from all sizes and industries. And from one day to another, organizations, they needed to provide access to their networks and users, from users to outside of their infrastructure. So think over some years ago, if someone told you that many companies, many of them global, would be operating with almost 100% of their workforce remotely, would you believe them? Because, well, this is something that would have happened in 10 years. It happened in just one. So after the pandemic, the working from home trend gained traction in a matter of a few weeks in a way that in normal condition would have taken years. And cloud is the new access paradigm. So security leaders also accelerated the migration of their infrastructure to cloud environments. There's a work from Forrester with Cloudflare that says that 52% of organizations surveyed indicated that the pandemic has caused a shift to cloud-based work models. In these kind of models, both employees and third party need to have access to critical systems through privileged credentials so they can perform their actions. Well, and these cloud environments are hybrid. So we have infrastructure both on premises and cloud. Also, this kind of infrastructure is scalable. So we have virtual machines, credentials being created in real time. And also, we have new granular and dynamic access models. So if you take cloud identities, they have lots of privileges, and they also have very specific granular privileges. So according to Gartner, there are more than 5,000 entitlements in cloud identities. And even in a post-pandemic context, Gartner estimates that nearly 50% of workers working in distributed models will remain working that way. And companies like Twitter, X now, Apple, Facebook they have also followed this trend. And many of them have also announced that they will not return to in-person models. And in my opinion, even those organizations that maintain their workspace will adopt a hybrid work model, alternating people working remotely and in-person work days. And now we have the concept of zero trust. So think before, we have the infrastructure and we have everything inside the company. Now that we're working remotely and in the cloud, we don't talk about these perimeter anymore. And now that we have users everywhere, identity is the new security perimeter. So every time we need to assess and evaluate the identity of the customer in order to allow them to perform actions in the environment. And besides that, well, we have GDPR in Europe. We have many states that are passing data privacy regulations, and governments are aware that organizations need to protect data from their customers, from their users, from their employees. And there's a tsunami of new regulation. In Europe, you have GDPR. In the US, there's the California Consumer Private Acts. In Saudi Arabia, in most countries are passing data privacy regulations. And we can understand that we have seen an increase of data breaches, data theft, revenue loss in recent years. And these data protection laws, they require that organizations protect, track, and control privileged credentials used by remote workers and third parties. For the GDPR, for example, the sanction can be up to 2% of the revenue or 10 million euros. And meet those obligations require big operational challenges. Cybercrime costs the world more than $1 trillion. Well, another interesting fact is that 92% of the companies felt damages other than monetary losses. So we're not just talking about company. There's operational costs, outages, loss of trust, reputational damage. So nowadays, more and more people have considered trust as an aspect when relating to company. So, and in times of digital transformation and greater competition in the market, this makes all the difference. Well, I don't know about you, but I feel uncomfortable making business with companies that are constantly target of malicious attackers, and they don't protect properly data. Although relationships with third parties have existed for a long time, the volume of this time of contracting has grown considerably in recent years. And some of these third parties may be suppliers, business partners, for example, service providers, consultants, and business are getting more complex. And with increased complexity and geographically spread teams, there's also been a growth in number of data breaches attributed to those third parties. Here are some examples of third parties that involve data breaches. So Uber has suffered data breaches of a threat actor released employee mail address. So information like IT asset information and corporate reports were found online. Okta has been also victim of a data breach. They have sent out breach notifications to almost 5,000 current and former employees to warn them of this data breach that involved third parties. So in this data breach specifically, names, social security numbers, health, medical insurance plan numbers were breached. And the challenge of third-party work, while not new, are associated with a series of new business risks. There's a study from the Panama Institute that shows that 56% of organizations have experienced a data breach caused by one of their third parties that resulted in the misuse of its sensitive or confidential information. Another number, 70% of these third-party breach or cyber attacks result from giving too much privileged access to a third party. And this is quite sensitive because implementing what we call the principle of the least privilege is a challenge for most organizations, as we need to continuously assess the level of privilege and the level of access that those users must have. The financial sector and the healthcare are two top industries that are targeted by cybersecurity attacks. Well, the healthcare, especially after the pandemic. 58% of financial organizations and 55% of healthcare said that they have experienced a data breach in the last 12 months. And 47% of those data breaches have cost us more than $1 million. So addressing cybersecurity risks is more than protecting privileged access is more than addressing cybersecurity risks. It is ensuring business continuity, because more and more cybersecurity risks are associated with the business, with the core business. Now, what are the risks associated with remote work? Well, then first we have more users connected remotely. So organizations are digitalizing their processes, are having more users connected to their infrastructure. Then we have the overload on infrastructure resources. So we have many people connecting from outside the infrastructure, so that can overload the infrastructure. We have bring your own device. So instead of using the company's devices, users are increasingly using their own device. So this is a concept that people bring their device to use, their personal devices or another device to use to work. And well, the problem is that many of those devices are not properly monitored by the cybersecurity team, and that leaves the organization susceptible to a cyber attack. We also have shadow IT. Many users, well, it's a reality. Not all, well, pretty much all the clients that I've talked to, they don't have the proper control of what are the software that are installed. Many of the software that are installed by remote workers are not compliant, are not homologated by the cybersecurity team. Last, strict security policies, because, well, because of those device, bring your own device and shadow IT, the policies that are applied to those devices are less strict than if they were from the organization or if they were connected to the infrastructure. And last, control and monitoring of endpoints. So mobile phones, laptops, all of those devices outside of the infrastructure are not, sometimes are not properly monitored. Well, what are the consequences? Well, you have devices that are not approved by the security team, outdated software by using shadow IT. So you're not, this can introduce vulnerabilities to the environment that can be exploited by malicious attackers. Unprotected networks, privilege abuse, as I talked before. So if you don't implement the principle of the least privilege, then you are susceptible that your users abuse of privilege, and that can be malicious or not. You have credential theft. So many attackers use phishing to perform their cyber attacks. Improper data access, so unauthorized access to data, and also the lack of governance. So you don't understand what are the actions that the users are performing, why, when. So all of those questions need to be answered when you want to decrease cyber risks. And what are the consequences? Well, you have a great attack surface. You have many devices that the malicious attacker can use to perform cyber attacks, and greater exposure to cyber risks. We understand that many of those cyber risks are associated with organizational risks. Risks for the business. So we talk about not only loss of revenue, but there's also reputational damage. So how the organization is viewed by its customers, loss of trust, not only by the clients, but also partners, suppliers, employees, and that also counts. And in the end, business continuity. That's, well, in the end, what we want, to ensure that the business is up and running and delivering business to its customers, its partners, its employees. Now we are going to mitigate the risks that are associated with remote access management. Well, according to Verizon, 44% of the organization surveyed, one of the risky behaviors in infrastructure is improper administrative access. So that is performed through privileged credentials. To address this aspect, 38% of companies surveyed speeded their investment in zero trust-based technology. And 55% of them increased investments in what we call identity and access management technologies, like privileged access management and Senhasegura. Now, what are the aspects involved in providing those accesses? Then we have, first we have the infrastructure, understand what are the applications that the users need access, what are their IT devices, what is the level of risk that those applications provide. Understand what are the privileged credentials that are associated with those assets. Are they admin? Are they normal accounts? Do they have hard-coded passwords embedded like on scripts? DevOps, for example, use a lot of privileged credentials. So where are those privileged credentials? I usually say that it's useless, it's impossible to protect what is not managed, and it is impossible to manage what is not known. So you need to understand what is connected to your infrastructure, what are the privileged credentials that are associated with them. And Senhasegura has best-in-class discovery capabilities. And it's not me who is saying that. Gartner said in one of its reports that Senhasegura offers best-in-class discovery capabilities. Then we have users, suppliers, and third parties. So you need to understand where are those users, what kind of access do they need? And finally, privilege access, control, manage, and monitor all the access that are performed in the environment. And what is PAM? Well, PAM stands for Privilege Access Management, and PAM tools are needed to fully address PAM challenges. However, a significant effort is needed to address both the people and process aspects. So we're talking about technology, people, and processes or policies. I usually say that it's useless to implement the state-of-the-art in security tools without first investing in people, training people, making them aware of the use of the PAM tool, of security mechanisms. Implementing PAM tools without these first steps means, well, first, not mitigating security risks, two, longer time to achieve security maturity. Oh, well, and also, of course, higher operational costs, because sometimes we have to do rework. And in the end, is that what we want? Do you want more costs, or do you want reduced costs? And that's what where Senhasegura Domon comes. To solve the problems associated with remote work of third-party employees, we have launched Domon. Domon is a SaaS solution that offers users secure, zero-trust-based access to corporate infrastructure devices from wherever they are. All of this without the need of VPN, no agent installation, no need to license of additional license of any additional configuration. So through Senhasegura Domon, access is granted instantly, easily, and securely. So no need to expose device passwords, no need for the user to know the credentials to perform the access. All of these access is performed through the PAM solution. Senhasegura also allows, through just-in-time access, to configure multi-level access workflows. So Senhasegura offers 3-level workflow for users. So we can have a manager and someone above this person to approve the access. So this gives greater granularity because it adheres to the policy of the company. And in this case, the access is only granted when the highest level approving user approves the access. And this increases the level of security because prevents the user to perform an unauthorized access to the infrastructure. Besides that, well, Domon offers industry-recognized granular access from the Senhasegura PAM security platform. Forrester has evaluated Senhasegura as one of the most granular PAM solutions in the market. From Senhasegura Domon, it's possible to increase access security first through the limitation of the geographic region. That's what we call geofencing, to prevent unauthorized access from those regions. It is possible through Senhasegura DOMON to specify days and times and limit the access by specific days and times. And finally, it's also possible to limit the number of sessions. So let's say that the user will only be allowed to perform 2, 3, 4, and X remote sessions in the environment. So that limits the attack surface that could be exploited by if this user would be malicious. Of course, all of that with Senhasegura's recognized traceability. This is how the connection is done. So Senhasegura provides the access through what we call the Senhasegura gateway. It's a gateway in the cloud that is hardened with security configuration, and that provides the secure connection. It is a tunnel that provides connection from the users, from the third party to the company's infrastructure. Well, through Senhasegura DOMON, after the predetermined authorized time, first, the administrator requests access for the third party. So an unauthorized user requests the access to the user. The manager of the user approves according to the workflow that we've seen before. So that can be 1 level, 2 levels, or 3 levels. Then, whenever this access is approved, the user will receive an email with a unique link. Then the user perform the access. Only on authorized device, you can select the devices that the user will have access and for how long they will have access. Everything will be monitored. So every time the user logs in, the session will be recorded, the commands will be recorded. If the user perform a malicious command, that can be blocked and can be addressed also to the administrators. And after that, the link expires and it's not possible to perform another access. And DOMON also introduces all the features that are offered by Senhasegura PAM platform. That can be real-time monitoring of the actions performed. Through its live stream feature, it's possible for an auditor to verify all the actions performed by a user. And that can also allows blocking or terminate the remote session in case of non-compliance, or if a malicious action is detected. For auditors, it's also possible to flag a high-risk remote session for further evaluation. Other features of Senhasegura also offered by DOMON include session recording, threat analysis, and user behavior analysis. Our user behavior is based on artificial intelligence, and we also offer what we call the keystroke dynamic identity that can detect malicious actions by the typing pattern of the user. It learns how the user types, and in real time, it can detect if the user is doing something malicious. Well, also other features that are provided by DOMON, and that it comes from Senhasegura, configurable reports. We have an exclusive information dashboard with a graphic radar, and Senhasegura also integrates with syslog and CM. The exclusive dashboards that are offered by Senhasegura DOMON can be used to analyze the sizing of the solution in the form of KPIs. So we can here, let's say that your HR verifies the KPIs that the third party brings, like the number of access, the number of users, the access time, the session risk score, the geolocation of the users. All of this information comes with the reports, so you can use in your auditing, in your reports. And it's also possible to visualize the alerts graphically represented in a threat radar. I will show that during the demo. So what are the main benefits of using Senhasegura Domo? First, reduced operational costs for the cybersecurity team. We know that it can be quite difficult to see and to have full visibility of everything that is being done in the environment. There's also the cost of remediating data breaches. So when we have Senhasegura Domo, it's much easier to investigate and to address data breaches. We have the total governance of the accesses, and finally, reduced attack surface and cybersecurity risks. That which is also organizational risks. Okay. Well, now let's hands-on in the tool. So this is the main screen of Senhasegura. Senhasegura is offered as a virtual machine. So it's just 7 minutes to be up and run. You just need to deploy the virtual machine in your environment. All the components, databases, operational systems, they are all embedded in the solution. So you don't have to worry about additional servers to deploy Senhasegura. From your browser, just point to the Senhasegura server. I will authenticate now. It's also possible to sign in with single sign-on and with other identity providers like Google, for example. Sorry. Senhasegura also provides MFA. So this also increases the level of security. Let me just get the token. And I can trust the computer if it logs out. So this is the main screen of Senhasegura. Let me go back to the main screen. So from this menu, you have access to all the features that Senhasegura offers. So Senhasegura offers certificate management capabilities, DevOps, Cloud IAM, and we are the only PAM vendors that offer Cloud IAM. And finally, and also Domo remote access. First, I will show the dashboards. So this is from the Monitoring Center. So we have a graphic dashboard of the actions that are being performed by third parties. I can view the vendors. This is the graphic that can be used by HR to understand the recording time, to measure the performance of the users. So I have many dashboards that can be used, third parties, internal users. So the solution separates internal users from third-party users, okay? So what I will do, I will request an access to a third party. Just create a new requisition. So, and Senhasegura is, we are constantly improving our user experience. Senhasegura has been recognized as having one of the best user experiences in the PAM market. And one of the things that we do to make it the life of the user easier is to provide wizards. So they can easily configure, the solution. So in this case, through a 5-step wizard, I can easily configure access to a third party. So I'll select a vendor. And from this vendor, I'll select a user. So I have David Muniz here. This is an access oh, to demonstrate command. Then select the reason, change, for example. And here we can configure a ticket. So you can connect Senhasegura, we can integrate Senhasegura with your ITSM solution. And here you can provide a ticket number. So let's say, and what Senhasegura does, it connects to the ITSM solution and checks if it is a valid ticket number. There you go. Next. Here in this next screen, I will select the devices that the user will have access. So I will select this server and we'll select 3 servers that the user needs to have access. Add. Now I will select the credentials that the user needs to have access from all of those servers. So let's say I will select all of them, but I can select the ones that you like. And now I will select whether the user will have access to start a section or view the password. So if I want the full level of traceability, then I will select start session to all of them because I'll make sure that everything is recorded. But I'll also view a password of a couple of them. There you go. Next. So this is where I limit the access to the user. So I can select the starting date, the duration of the access, which days of the week the user will have access, what time they will have access, and how many sessions they will be able to perform. Okay, so now let's just start at 7:32 Brazil time, and this will last for 1 hour. There you go. Next. Now I review all of the information and then save. There you go. The access has been saved, has been approved, and now I will just wait for the email to arrive so I can perform the access. Wait a couple of minutes. Well, it takes a couple of minutes. So the user will receive a message with a unique link so they can perform the access at Senhasegura Domo. Okay? With no agents required. It takes a couple of minutes for the user to receive the link. There you go. The email was received. So this is the email that you get. So you have a new access to Senhasegura Domo approved. Then you have just click on access. The first time that you access Domo, you are required to configure MFA. So this is mandatory. There you go. Just to make it clear, now I'm the user, I'm the third-party user performing the access. So you can see that I've opened an incognito screen. So okay. Then log in. So this is the main screen that the third party will see, and the credentials and devices that this user can have access. So I can either view the password of a specific credential and view copy the password, or I can perform a remote session. So let me get the Windows 10, this one. And this is done via browser. So you don't have to install any agent, any software. So now I'm performing the remote session in the environment. Check here. So here, I'm the third party performing the access. And from the dashboards, the monitoring center, the remote session will appear here. One concurrent access, so I can check what's going on. So David Muniz is performing an access from this IP, etc. Yeah, sessions. Brazil 1. So you can hear, so we can see the populated map whenever the users are performing access. Okay. And also from the dashboard. From here, we also have information from the PAM use as well. Senhasegura also offers the threat radar. So this is something, a graphic representation of all remote sessions that are performed in the environment. Okay. So in this case, I am now the administrator. So I can click here. So David Muniz is performing a session. So me as administration, I can terminate, drop the session, or I can live stream, view in real time what the user is performing. So a screen pops up. Let me open this other one. Oh, not this. Let me get here. So you can see here in real time, I'm performing the actions here. And I can, for example, as administrator, stop what the user is doing, block as well. But, well, since I'm the same user, I'm not allowed to do that. Okay, hold on. There you go. So I cannot do anything in the session, has been locked. I'm not allowed. If I'm doing something malicious, and I can release again, or I can just terminate the session if the user is doing something malicious. There you go. You have been disconnected. Okay. So with that, I finished my presentation. So I don't know, there's questions from the audience. And again, thank you very much for the invite and for having me part of this. The questions here.
So if you have a question, you can write in chat or Q&A block. David, we have question in chat.
Yes. Yes. What is the pricing? Well, Senhasegura is priced by users. Okay, so to know the prices depends on the number of users. Okay. If you want to know the values, then you can just contact the sales team either at Softprom. The second question, is this a cloud-based solution or I can install it on-premise? Yes, it is a cloud PAM SaaS solution. So Senhasegura Daemon is offered as a cloud solution. But Senhasegura PAM can be installed both on premises or on the cloud, okay? But since the access proxy is based on the cloud, this is a SaaS-based promise. We got info that there's licensing per admin. Well, per admin user, per credential that is but by user that perform access at Senhasegura. So let's say that you have 200 workers, 200 employees. So it is priced by the number of privileged users. Okay.
Any question?
Well, hopefully that answered the questions. If not, just let me know.